Welcome to Business Simulation, and today we're going to talk about hacks about how to do case studies. And of course, we'll talk about what's in it for you. So let's quickly take a look about the why. You have to clear the why when you're doing these case studies because if you do not know what's in it for you, you'll not be able to enjoy the benefits. So, first of all, businesses today just want salespeople to be their problem solvers. Or else, what is their value? Tell me. Just giving them a quotation? No. So just talk about the product? Well, they're probably speaking to a technical person, or 60% of the time they really know your product well. Second thing is develop knowledge. And if you do not have the industry knowledge, trust me, you'll never be able to have a very nice conversation with a customer. The third, relevance. If you do not understand the customer's business, why would they even accept you for a meeting, right? Okay, so which means we have a solution, and the solution is to build a habit by doing case studies, approaching the case studies, and then getting to understand their problems and then solving the problem. Okay, so this is critical, but let's go on and explain why you need to do so. So the first thing is something very different is happening to the industry, and I'll tell you why it is happening. So the first thing you realize is that there are three ages. The industrial age, when cars were manufactured, it was huge. It took townships to build cars. Detroit is a perfect example. Empty houses? Yeah, because you don't need that anymore. Then we came into the information age, where land was not required. You could sit on a computer and do a lot of stuff. It was the information age. But now, post the internet, what's happening is the industry has already shifted into the digital age. In a digital age, the rules are completely different, which means what needs to be automated will be automated. Everything is connected, everything is beyond boundaries, everything is beyond borders. You can work from anywhere, and the only workers going forward will be those who can problem solve. And I'll tell you why that is. The simple reason is AI, chatbots, IoT, robots, they're going to be automating a significant amount of work. So, what is it? That would be the jobs of the future. Simple. It's all going to be about people, process, technology, and its integration. So, now let's look at where is the world going when it comes to digital. You see, these are the industries, and I suggest that you stop the video and take a look at it. This is a McKinsey slide. These are the industries that are automating. And why? Because they were dependent on extreme manpower. So either they automate or they have to because they have to remain competitive. So what are the jobs? As I said, guys, 3D printed homes to robots to connected cars, virtual reality and augmented reality, drones, connected devices, that's the future. Now, these are going to be the jobs of the future. So, what's in it for you? So, first of all, you need to connect the dots, and you can only connect the dots by looking backwards and looking forwards, right? So, that means you can only do that by understanding the problems. You need to understand one very important thing when you have to talk to customers. What's the business case? If you don't have a business case and a statement for it, why would somebody even listen to you? The last piece is the industry and the relevant knowledge. Industry is very core. The problem with product companies is that they do not teach industry. You have to learn it on your own. And that's the trick, because if you can understand the industry patterns and how businesses work and get that relevant knowledge, I can only tell you that you would be the king. So the question is, how do you execute it? We follow the Harvard Business School model. It is the case study model. So, a couple of things. You've got four pieces how to do a great case study. First and foremost, we have a model that is a skin down model of the Harvard Business School. It's called the CCAP model. So, before we explain that, we need to explain to you very clearly, very clearly. Over here, when you reach out to small businesses, companies, big companies, corporates, I can only tell you, do not reach out to really big companies or even medium sized companies. Reach out to startups like two member people or two employees looking for funding. Those are the people who have the problems that you can work with. The bigger it is, the bigger challenge it becomes for you to do a case study because business processes become complex. So, what you do is focus where the startups are. And that is exactly where your opportunity is. So, for example, if you're a veteran, you need to be working where people need you. Companies who are just about to get funding would love to take a veteran who understands their technologies, the industry, etc., because they face the biggest challenge. But if you go to a bigger company, they have money, they have power, they have set processes, they have hundreds of people applying for the same job. Why do you think they would take you if you don't have the best experience? So the question is, how do you make it a habit? How do you understand these businesses and business cases? We use a model called CCAP. The first thing that you have to do is go to the website and look at the About page. Read it up. Then look at the people, which we call as a committee, which means who are the people running the show. Read about them. The third is to understand what is the buying market for their product, which means understand their product, look at the competition a little bit, and then look at who's going to buy their product, which is the customer. As long you can do this and make it a habit, in 15 minutes you'll be up and running, which is the reason prepare. Make it a habit. Now the activity. Let's talk about it. You'll be getting on a call with members of your team. We suggest that you include as many people. And then you're being given 60 minutes. 60 minutes from start to finish to build a business case and do a case study using that model. The trick is that you should be able to solve the business or understand the business problems easily. But as I said, the trick is not about you. The trick is that you need to establish rapport with your team, and this is the best way to do it. If it is a monologue, just a monologue, like you're teaching them, hey, nobody wants all that stuff. Everybody's had enough of school, right? But this is about involving people and getting just crazy perspectives, which means you should do three things now. As you get on the call, set the contract that you'll be doing the case study. These are the expectations, and you have to lay down the expectations that at the end you will come up with a couple of things, which is what are the problems, let's quantify the problems, and then reach out to the customer, right? If you cannot set that contract, in a couple of minutes, people just don't know what they need to do. So setting the contract is extremely important in that 60 minute. When you start, ensure that you have a very structured way of involving people. What I've been doing, and it has been pretty successful, is that I ask three questions. I say, guys, let us first understand how the company makes Money. What is the process of making money? What is the money flow? What kind of customers do they have? And I say, let's go one by one and get everybody's responses. Everybody gets 2 minutes to 3 minutes maximum, and the person needs to pass it on to the rest of the people. One by one. Follow the same convention, the same structure of moving from one person to the other. And then repeat it for the second question. So, second question that I ask always is, guys, we're going to take a look at what are the problems and challenges they are going to be facing. So, what you do is you ask the same question or this particular question to the same group of people following the same structure. You have to understand that people have to mute their phones. Many people in the team would be people who are visually impaired. They use smartphones, but those smartphones are not very smart when it comes to muting and unmuting. So if you follow the structure, everybody knows who their turn is and they're going to be proactive. If you don't follow the structure, you're going to be, throwing stuff which is not needed at people because you have to move in a very structured way. Do not make it very inconvenient for people. If you make it inconvenient, then people just don't get it. The last piece, build the business case and then quantify the problem. And once you start taking everybody's feedback, you'll be amazed how different ideas can bounce off in those 60 minutes. Enough for you to set the ground rules saying, okay, guys, we got the business case. It seems that the quantification of this problem is so many dollars for 1 month, per day, per year, 3 years, etc. If that is so, let us go and find exactly these kind of companies in the industry. Focus on where these startups are and scale the business outreach because everything is standardized now. You know the industry, you know the product. Only what is going to change is the size of the business case or the problem or the quantification of the problem, because the problem remains the same throughout that industry. The second piece, which is very critical, is you need people to be efficient. If you cannot clearly articulate where people should be looking at to send out emails and call the customers on a call, it won't scale. It is a clarity problem. At every step, develop that clarity. So I think I've given you enough, but as I said, guys, if you can do the case study, which I've done about 3,000 of them in the last 4 years, I'm good at it. I'm really good at it. And you can be too. It doesn't take much time. Okay, guys, thank you very much. Take care.